Javaguan. Namaste. Howsh. Hello. How are you? Trina Christine Mason here, live now. Kinda. Accelerating with you through time and space, sharing with you this interface. I'm driving now on my way to a pleasant place, which is outside of myself, that I choose to be. That feels like my destiny, my calling, my place, as everything aligns. The stars, the planets. We are in 3 days of light. Excuse my joke calling it that. There are 3 days where the planets align with the moon. And it's an astronomical event that is excessively rare, supposedly, eh? I believe it's Saturn, the moon, Mars. Please correct me or insert the actual facts in the comments if you're brave enough to fact check me and to guide me or become one with me in a co-creation of this existence. It's been brutally difficult to maintain a harmony that is my own personal harmony and my place of peace and resonance that lives within me when I have a chance to come to my center and be with myself and be. It's so peaceful and pleasant there, and there's so much shame, guilt, and disgrace or disharmony with humanity when I see the differences and the lack of nourishment to each other and, most of all, the self. We can only love each other as much as we are capable of loving and serving the self. Some of you are conscious of the needs, the physical needs of others. This can be sexual needs or physical touching or eating. You can consider a physical need, right? Simply honoring the body and the self as a whole instead of separating ourselves from our sexual self and our non-sexual self or identifying ourselves as a form of gender. There's a lot of subtle ways that our minds are played with. If you close your eyes, you'll notice it's actually genderless. The witness, that is you, that is ever present, always remaining witness. Your higher self, your awareness, your full scan of everything in your experience. Today I was texted from a younger generation the actual suicide note of Kurt Cobain, which I do not believe is his actual note. However, if we did imagine it's true for a moment as well, the words, the principle, okay, the act, the coordinates. My inner kid self is like mad that I don't have frankincense burning in the car right now and just like blessing the air everywhere that I go. Contributing that. Instead of like taking from the element, right, of it giving me fresh air or temperature, coldness, right, the wind. Talk to the wind, feel its degree of expression. What is the world saying? What are your senses saying? Are you fully connected with all of your senses? What you think, what you taste, what you sense with your eyes closed, what you think, what you're doing, like everything into one alignment. Are you actually truly witnessing yourself fully? Today I started to learn a little bit deeper about elemental souls. Elemental souls, I like to joke that are like plants or animals incarnated as humans. And you can Google elemental soul and see a lot of video game references and a lot of like ways that this history has been expressed. One thing that I found interesting that I read today is that supposedly elemental souls go limp, completely limp, like they become paralyzed. They can't move their body if their astral body itself is not in their body. If their astral body is outside of themselves. I thought that was the most interesting fact. This comes to mind, of course, of ATCG, the 4 bottom nucleosides of DNA, that state that we all have the same mother, we come from the same place, plants, animals, we come from the same hive mind, the same collective, the same creator, same manifestation, same molecules, same atoms. I wondered if there was like something connected to like the evenings. Excuse my shadow projections. House. Let me protect you from me and my manifestations of my mind, right? That witchcraft, that spelling, that way that I choose to view. Am I victimized or am I strengthened? Where am I feeling? Where am I connecting? We understand we are stronger together. And still, we are so weak, we are not strong with ourselves. We do not know what we really want. We say to one thing to ourselves, but we feel another, and we never really take time to be with ourselves. There's constant stimulation, constant sound, constant visualization, constant speaking. Never is there actual just processing, integration, sit still, be, witness modifications of mind. Do not control or judge or shame or try to change. Honor the self. Listen to the inner child that is you, that is begging to be heard, instead of pretending. So many people don't realize that they're like constantly pretending and improvising like every day and every moment. And like I almost want to joke how like every single person is doing that. And then like I want to like joke how that's not true, because there's people who are like very structured and say at this time I do this, and like every day is the same. The universe is certainly a very beautiful, intricate thing. At the same time, I recognize that I truly like know nothing at all. See, instead of like me getting mad that people are like close together and talking and stuff, like people are really uncomfortable with coming together. They don't understand this virus is like a symbolism of something so much more, like of us not wanting to hold each other's hands. Don't talk to the homeless person. Oh my God, that person, what? The judgment, the disassociation, the hatred, the like ignorance, you know? Like, I am shameful of ignorance. I would much rather pay attention and be fruitful in my actions. Much rather. I was given a very, like, beautiful, intricate, harassive visualization about, like, I want to joke and say, like, God, right? I visualize, like, imagine having this whole world. Like, imagine being God and you made this whole world, right? And, like, you created, like, love and, like, lovemaking. And, like, oh, there's all this existence of all these things, right? Like, all these wonderful things in the world that, like, every person has their own thing, right? That's like, oh, my God, this makes my heart pound. Like, this makes me smile. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I live for, right? Like, this makes me, like, this, everything, right? Like, that. So imagine, like, God made all these different things that, like, everybody identifies with and, like, all that connection. I see my boy. Yeah, he just waved. Cool. Yo, I love this town. Yeah, I love this town. Everybody's riding their bikes. I'm just, like, loving it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, my heart. It's my boy Thomas, dog, all right? All right, so it's amazing. So go back. Like, so you're God, you made all these things. And then there's, like, this human who is just like, life is so horrible. And like being unable to see in the beauty, like constantly being fixated on every single dark fractal of existence, instead of like witnessing presence in the beauty of what is now and how like nothing is ever the same, you know? And like we can look at the generations of like things, and we can look at social engineering and all these amazing things. Dude, I've never seen, like, all this madness the way that I'm seeing this madness. I feel like I've been prepped my whole life for this, though. Like, again, this tank girl stuff. And, like, yeah. I used to feel really alone, and then, like, I guess I found God, right? Or Jesus Christ, or myself, or the magic of presents. And I don't mean presents, gifts in a box, as much as those are fun, which is why, of course, I have an Amazon wish list. I mean, it was only pushed upon me since I was a little kid. Hey, you should get this. Did you know this option exists? So I thought that this system was magic, how we could just, like, do this magic. If you could witness life as just magic, that you can choose, like, hey, I'm going to partner with this person, I'm going to do this, and then, like, in 3 years, I'm going to do this, and then things are going to be like this. And instead of, like, planning it all out, look at your dots backwards and then tell the same story. And then, like, imagine you could control and, like, set up time and lineages and have attempts, even if it's just a moment or 15 minutes spent on just thinking about, like, oh man, I think this is a dream. Like, let me spend 15 minutes in that space. Like, let's go to the place of where I'm actually there and feel into that space and see if I really resonate there, if that's where I really want to be. And then, like, let's do the steps backwards at what it takes to get there. And let's see if I'm willing to do all of that, or, like, let's speak with ourselves that this is what I wish for, and really, like, you know, vibrate it, mean it, instead of vibrating our fears and everything, like our magnetisms that we are not. It's so hard not to, like, magnetize those fears, right? Like, I have fears that I'm not pretty, so I'll put on makeup and I'll be like, oh, make all these faces, right, and expressions, and try to, like, shift and control and change the self instead of thinking that I'm okay as I am, because society has taught me that not everyone will love me, that love to them might mean lust, or love means love making, not true support of my dreams. House. Whole crew just riding by. Nice. Yes. Ugh. What is happening to the minds of society? What is happening? And when will you stop your witchcraft against me? You know what I mean? Like, trying to control and tell me, if I want to be happy, that I need to do this, that this is going to make me happy. Who said coffee is going to make me happy? I think I'm going to get really stimulated and get a lot of energy, and it's going to taste really good, and it's going to, like, stain my teeth. I think I have, like, enough energy, though, you know? And I think, like, I can muster that energy when it comes towards something I really want to do. And I definitely get that energy when I connect to coffee. However, like, I do not choose to be a dependent. You know, I would like to be happy and content with just breathing. So I'm in this process of doing that. You will drive? He's pretending that, like, he's predicting where I will be driving upon. Right? You'll be driving on the street, pretending to be psychic, not realizing that I had seen him first. However, I did not foresee seeing him foreseeing us. Yo, I really do love living in this small city of St. Augustine and having this heart and this connection. Like, that is something that certainly got my attention. I mean, growing up in Plantation was kind of exactly the same. However, like, yo. Oh, man. My inner kid's just like, Extension! I can't even, like, say Plantation. Like, honestly, I never really, like, I think I might have listened to, like, one song of his, and that might have been after doing diligence of, like, his passing. All this stuff is yucky to talk about, and I'm not really being funded and paid to talk about these things, and it's, like, risky to talk about these things, right? Like, there's, like, all these psychic attacks, right? Energetic attacks and control and manipulation. I really just would like some land, and not just, like, any land. Is like, I like grassy lands, and yeah, I like weeds. I don't think they're garbage. I like edibles, of course, too, if we can get more in touch with our roots of, like, what each plant means and what it does, and, like, why it's growing around us, and, like, the symbolisms of our nature and getting back to our natural states instead of like these controlled, conditioned, like we're brainwashed into like refrigeration, right? Toilets. Sexual matters. The ownership over our bodies. God, Uncle Frank joke. You ready? You want to know how I know I don't own my body? You want to know how I know I don't own my body? You want to know how I know I don't own my body? He says, because I can't legally sell it. How's that for a sex joke? Literally a sex joke for everybody, not just boys or girls, you feel me? So I know that legalities have changed. However, it's like deeper than that. Like this goes back to John Zangreen's quote too of like, why is it the one thing that we own we know nothing about? Our bodies, right? Like we're not taught that in school, like exactly how the brain works and how the ears work, and we're not really like taught all of that. That's like not really important, or how to make money, or like anything that the whole society's built, that we're taught that we have to do this and follow this law. Yet the backward structure isn't like really structured and loving and you understand? And I think that like our parents and our parents' parents and that like everybody's been saying this for generations, and meanwhile like everyone's like, yep. And to me that's called hidden in plain sight. It's just like you're consenting to this. It's in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. Look up hidden in plain sight Illuminati meaning. Or Freemason, you know? And like there's no shade or hate here when shedding that illuminescence, okay? We are one. 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 I just got a text saying, "You are so loved." I felt it. Especially like as it came in, as I said, we are one, we are one, we are one, we are one. Yes, I know fucking God loves me. I know. I feel its presence, and like that's why I feel so commanded to command its presence. And just I haven't been honoring all things as sacred. I've been having judgments and saying they are not of God's way. Like it's not like that. Like it's like literally like storybook. Like people have blacked out and they forgot who they are, and like it's like a generational thing. Like it's so extensive and deep and traumatic, but it's really beautiful and intricate at the same time. So I'm kind of like grateful to like have this human experience, yet at the same time sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I messed up so bad, I'm so sorry, like I deserve all of this. Though really like I was called out by my boyfriend, you know, like what is pain? Is pain really that bad? Like when you really think about it, like it's kind of like a teaching device. And like when you put it like that, like, man, I became like so soldier, you know. I started thinking about like the people who like just go in like willing to get like limbs chopped off and just don't care, you know, like zombie like. And I know that our minds are that powerful. I just think that like that's dangerous as well, because I don't believe that everyone's powers are being used for the good, meaning for the good of all. That a lot of people have their will, their demands. Like you could say that God came to them with a command and then they're like, nope, I'm changing this. I'm going to twerk it like this, and I'm going to think that you don't see and know. Like, I heard a clear message. I'm supposed to help this person and do this. But then, like, I'm going to pervert the idea because I can. I got this freedom. I got this free will. I'm like, who's going to help me write my story? His story. Right now, it's her story. I'm like, where's our story? My sisters, my brothers, my family, like all of you, okay? All of mankind, you are all my brothers and sisters. If you only knew our story and all the things that I am shown, I'm just trying so hard to share with you and translate with you. It's just very difficult, and it can be very draining and even painful to experience the collective emotions and to serve it to you in a way that makes me feel pleasant or as if I've done my best. Sometimes I give you front row, like, right? Like right now, no script, nothing planned, just pure heart, pure intention, pure love, pure hope for growth, you know? People are so brainwashed. Like, if you only knew how the words money are a trigger. Like, money is such a trigger. Money. Like, that word is such a trigger. And people, like, even the word trigger is a trigger. And, like, people know what triggers are. And I would like to help reverse triggers into less traumatic events that make the trigger a empowerment tool instead of traumatic, I want to say somatic device that kind of paralyzes you with anxiety and fear and isolation. All these things are meaningful and they're integrated over generations. My family, my pride, I feel you all with me. And I'm doing my best. However, I can feel you also, like, sometimes, like, you could say being on the dark side of the force, right? And I empathize with you and your feelings, especially those of you, like, who can be like, I want to be like me, like, share your feelings. Like, I know it's, like, really awkward and shady to be like, hey, like, I feel, like, evil, or, like, I feel happy, or I feel glad to be alive, or, like, hey, I'm really questioning existence right now. Like, imagine being able to be your, like, wholehearted self and being able to be honest. Or what if, like, you were feeling all of those things at the exact same time? Where's the container for you to contain and exist as yourself? And is it easy for you to be your own container of your soul? Or do you seriously wish for no existence because your container is too large? Use your magic wisely. See yourself. Understand. Know. Again, I do not feel like I am the best translator. And I'll never feel like my work is good enough or, like, done. I could be completely lying to myself. I just, like, it's interesting, okay? I feel like every day you earn free will. Like, if it's my free will to keep living, like, I earn that every day. Because, like, I'm in alignment with, like, my will. Because my will is not, like, against God's will. I feel like that's, like, the biggest problem, that people think that just because they want to do something that is either, like, against the Bible or what someone else said is wrong, instead of, like, what's in their heart of hearts, like, what they really desire. Man, I'm being given visualizations, how I need to meditate and spend time by myself and focusing on this one subject. I use meditation as a tool to, like, really, like, for me, focus. And I know that it has, like, intentions of samadhi and that as well. However, my, like, soul says I'll rest and be one with God when I earn it. And I like to, like, kind of, like, be earnest in my soul how I feel, like, what is my diligence, or, like, is it a karma? It has to do with my deeds. And, like, it's more of a feeling level, so it's really difficult to describe to you the narratives of, like, that experience. And there's even, like, a meditating and staring onto a bird. The word is not counterintelligence. I feel like I should stop trying to share my thoughts and, like, my feelings and let everyone have their own experience. However, I do create these with the intention of, you know, if I have something to give, please take, please, yes, please show me that I have a reason, a purpose, like, what is going on, because this feels like chaos sometimes, and I can't see straight, and I don't understand, and I'm not even thinking the way that you are thinking, you know? And I feel that same way, like, with God sometimes. Like, I'm totally not with what you're trying to get me to do here, you know? And there's a lot of resistance with Source. Like, I'm getting yelled at right now, like, by Source, you know, calling me spoiled. I am. I'm so spoiled. I'm so, like, whiny baby. Like, on a soul level. Like, if I'm an alien in a past life, like, even then I was like, yeah. Like, I had a tude, you know what I mean? Always talking back to Creator Source. And I just, like, I'm watching myself and just, like, I recognize that, like, honestly, like, it's symbiotic or, like, symbolic to my relationship with myself, right? I need to respect myself and listen to myself in all these ways. House. Ho'oponopono. Jabbergon. Namaste. I love you. Gotta go. Peace. Shanti. Om.